Very pleasant good Monday evening to you, everybody. Welcome to the Storm Report Season 3, episode number 17. We'll have a lot of fun today. We're going to start talking a little basketball. They're halfway through the conference schedule. We're going to talk about an interesting week of basketball for the men's program. We're going to take it to a little bit of baseball, hit the diamond. They got their season started. The baseball guys did earlier or last weekend, and the women's softball program will join us as well, and they'll get their program underway and their season underway tomorrow, right out there at the ACU softball field. But welcome again to the Storm Report. I'm Tim Gooszen. Joining me on the far side is Ed Cole, and smashed in the middle between us is Mr. Austin Peters, assistant basketball coach for the ACU men. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Mr. Gooszen, good evening. Coach, thanks for joining us again.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.
So, Coach, we're going to kind of do a mid-season report for you as far as you're halfway through conference. You've played 7 games. You have 7 left in conference. We talked about it before the season that it looked like it was going to be a very tight, contested GSAC conference this year, and that's what it's kind of played out to be. You went to both extremes, however, this past week. You had a game where you scored 63 and only allowed 49, which was second fewest, or tied for the fewest scored by a GSAC team all season long. And then the next game, you decide to have a blowout or shootout in the OK Corral, and you go to triple overtime, and you win 119 to 111. So what a roller coaster of a week for you, Coach. Let's take you to Vanguard, a game where it's a defensive struggle all the way through.
Yeah.
Talk about the key moments of that game.
Yeah, I mean, we did a good job executing the game plan. I think both teams this last week, or they were similar style teams, and Coach did a great job of preparing our guys for the physicality and the aggressiveness and just the high intensity that both teams play with. And so Thursday, our guys did a great job of executing the game plan, and we didn't shoot it great, but we got really good looks. And so, when you're on the road, you tend to not shoot as well as you do at home. And I think, we were getting open looks and they weren't falling, but I mean, we really, really executed the defensive game plan well. And our guys really stepped up and matched and, even surpassed the intensity that Vanguard brought. And Vanguard's a really tough team. They're really good. And they were one of the 6 teams tied for first going into last week. And they are good enough to beat anybody. They've beaten College of Idaho and Montana Tech. I mean, they've got some heavy hitter wins against some big time programs, so we knew we were going to have our work cut out for us. And Coach was, all week preaching, we got to be tough, we've got to be aggressive, and we've got to match their physicality. And the guys stepped up and they really executed that well on Thursday.
You talked about the teams being tied at the top. There were 6 teams that you talked about before the weekend, 3-2 in conference, and a lot of you had almost exact overall record as well.
Yep.
Like a 13-5. There's a couple of you had a couple of 12s and 6s, and you're like, oh my goodness, this could go any way in any shape and form. And then 3 of the teams out of that came out winning both games, and ACU was of course one of them. Now you're at 5-2 as you're halfway through. So I'll let Ed touch on that here in a second, but now take us to the game against Hope.
Yeah.
It's a much different game. It's a game that you're up 6 with just a couple of closing seconds, and then they hit a couple of threes, and including a crazy bank shot to tie it right at the end of regulation, and then you go not 1, not 2, but 3 overtimes for the second time ever in ACU men's basketball history. You saw a 3rd overtime, and you ended up pulling out the win. But obviously in a game that's triple overtime, you're going to have fouls, and you're going to have there was 9 guys that fouled out of the game, 6 for Hope and 3 for ACU. And by the time you're looking around, you're like, all right, your shoes are still tight. All right, you're good. Come on in. So take us through that game, Coach.
Yeah, it was wild. To be honest with you, last minute, I can't remember if we were up 5 or 6 or, going in that last minute. And we thought, let's make our free throws and we'll get in the vans and go home. And they just kept trading 3s for 2s. Like, we were making our free throws. It wasn't, I don't think, a lack of execution on our part, because we were making our free throws and they just were hitting 3s. And a couple of them were crazy with the hand in the face. And like you said, at the end of regulation, the guy 1 step into half court, threw up a prayer. Tucker was right there and contested and just banked in. So, but our guys, they just stayed resilient. They stayed focused, and it could have gone really bad the other way, right? Like, it's just such a deflating moment. The guy banks in a half quarter, and our guys could have just been like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? How did we blow the lead? But they stepped up, and I mean, same thing happened in the first overtime. We were, trading 3s for 2s, and Didn't quite get the stops we needed to close out the game in overtime. And then in the second overtime, we were actually down 4 with, I don't know, under a minute. And Zoe stepped up, I think, and hit a couple big free throws. Dennis had made a big play to tie the game. And then fortunate enough to go to a third overtime where we really buckled down and got stops. And, I think that just the resilience and the toughness of our mindset in that game really helped. Similar to Thursday, obviously it played out differently, but it's just, that was the story all week. When you go on the road, you got to be super tough. You got to be super resilient. You got to fight through, whether it's, not making shots because you're on the road, or, maybe, you feel like you're not getting the whistle you need, whatever the case may be, right? Like when you go on the road, things are tougher, and you got to have a tough mindset. And our guys really stepped up to the challenge last week.
Coach, what does it say about your team? You talk about toughness and resiliency. For Thursday, you get 63 points. Then you go a 56-point swing from 63 to 119 to see your team go in a tough situation against Vanguard, a really tight game, and, of course, another tight game against Hope, but still a lot more points scored than you did 2 days ago. What does that say about your team, that you can adapt from one game to the next and just two extremes of scoring and playing basketball?
Yeah, and Coach does a great job of preparing our guys and helping them with the ability to adapt. He's coached in this conference for darn near 20 years, I think, and so he knows every team inside and out. He probably knows every crevice on the floors when we go on the road, and so he just does such a great job in our prep every week to prepare our guys mentally. Hey, this team, this is what they're going to do, and this is what they're going to be like, and this is what we need to expect. Every single game, he's really good about prepping our guys, and so I know that goes into it. Just being able to shift and play different styles, I think he helps a lot with that. And then we've got really good players. We've got guys who work really hard, and they, like I said last week, did a great job of executing the game plan, right? Coach comes up with a great game plan every game, and then it's up to our guys to execute it, and that's what they did. They went out and executed the game plan, and we knew it was going to be similar style of teams, but Hope, they're a lot more aggressive in denying, and they're going to try and really turn you over. Vanguard's really physical. That's kind of how they turn you over. They try to beat you to spots and get you off your spots. Hope is a lot more athletic and quick to get into the gaps and deny and really try and make your life miserable. And so we knew it was kind of it's a similar style, but kind of different a little bit. And Coach, like I said, Coach did a great job preparing our guys for it, and they bought into it. And we're fortunate to get it done. 3 overtimes was a lot of fun. It would be a lot less fun if we didn't pull it out, but I'm glad we were on the winning side.
Tim, let me give one more,
sure,
and then you can go on. Back to the Vanguard game. We always talk about the keys to victory: crashing the boards, your bench getting some solid bench play. Mm-hmm. You doubled Vanguard on rebounds, 50 to 25. You got 40 points off your bench. Talk about the importance of both of those when it comes to a victory like that, being able to crash those boards, get 50 rebounds and 40 points from your guys coming off the bench.
Yeah, our bench has been awesome lately. Zoe, Dom, Tucker, guys coming in off the bench, ready to step up and make shots, ready to step up and execute the scouting report, ready to come in and execute offensively, defensively, whatever it is we've asked of them. They've been super great coming in off the bench and just to staying ready. We got, we're 9, 10, 11 guys deep of probably players that could start on any other program in the country, but we've got, super talented guys coming off the bench. So there's not much drop off, right? Like we've got a starting 5, those guys come in and it just stays right here, right? Like the level doesn't drop, which is awesome. And so, yeah, they were great Thursday. And then, obviously we had gotten into foul trouble on Saturday. I thought, guys, again, coming off the bench gave great minutes and helped us, stay composed, stay resilient, and, just keep pushing forward, right, instead of folding when things didn't go our way. So, yeah, our bench was great. And I'm really glad that we stepped up on, you mentioned the glass. I'm really glad we stepped up on the glass, too, because that's kind of hurt us in a couple of games. And I'm sure we'll talk about Jessup at some point. That was something that really hurt us when we played up there. And so I'm really glad that our team's really buying into owning the glass and making that a priority too.
Well, Coach, as you went into the game against Hope International, Paul Hayden was 1 point away from reaching the 1,000-point club, and he decided to roll off 33 just to make sure that number was good. Like the running back that gets 1,000 yards, and then the next one he gets tackled for 2 loss. Paul Hayden's like, I'm blowing past that. And in the process, he went by 3 guys and tied himself for 15th all time.
And the thing is, Tim, he didn't wait that long to get that 1,000th point, did he?
First play, yeah.
First point of the basket, or first points of the game, Paul Hayden reached the 1,000-point club, 18th person all time in HU history to do that. And again, he moved up, past somebody 1,007 and 1,015, and then now is tied with his old buddy Robbie Wilson at 1,032 points. And so what kind of celebration did you have? Obviously, you're on the road, so you don't have the home crowd behind it, and no big announcement was probably made. But what kind of How did you celebrate that with Paul?
Well,
was there any fanfare, Coach?
I was giving him a hard time on Thursday because going into the game he needed 9 points and he scored 8 on Thursday.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man, you just needed one more point. He couldn't score one more point. He had like a putback, offensive rebound putback that like rattled in and out. I was like, come on, man, you make that and you get 1,000. No, I mean we just celebrated in the locker room. We were so locked in during the game, but we made sure to congratulate him and tell him congrats in the locker room. And guys were pretty pumped for him.
Did he actually get an extra French fry at the table when you guys for post-game meal? Or?
I don't know. I didn't go. Yeah, we kind of went to different places for post-game meals, so I don't know if he did or not.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Well, as you talked about, Jessup's coming into town. That will start the second half of conference. You're 5-2 in conference. 7 games. You've played half the schedule. You've seen everybody then. Tell me the team that surprised you the most. We talked about it's tight, but what team have you gone? Man, they were better than we thought they were.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any team, to be honest with you, that surprised us so far just because we knew going in to the year that it was going to be such a grind. I know you mentioned earlier, right? Like just, last week we had 6 teams tied at 3-2 going into the week, and now we still have 3 teams tied at 5-2 and another team right behind at 4-3, and then 3 more teams that are 3-4. They're 2 games back, right? And so we knew we were going to have our hands full going into the season, right? And the GSAC's the best league in America. We've got a bunch of teams. Any team can beat anybody on any given night. And we got our work cut out for us every game. I think a couple weeks ago we were talking about how we're in this stretch right now of 7 games where we got like some really heavy hitters we're going up against. We had Masters, and then we had Ottawa on the road, and then we had Vanguard on the road, Hope on the road. Now we got Jessup at home. Menlo's really good. They just got to win on Saturday, and then we got to go to right. Like this, just every single night is a battle and a brawl, man. We got to be ready, and it's just every team's really good, and so we know that we got to be sharp in our preparation as coaches, and we know that we got to really make sure our guys are up to the task each game.
How are the young men preparing mentally? We know they're already mentally locked in after 21 games, but how do they continue to up their mental game as far as knowing, again, like you said, you've got Jessup, Menlo, Masters, Light Pacific, Ottawa coming here, Hope International. So it's just a revolving door of talented basketball teams coming in here that these guys have to stay mentally locked in.
Yeah, it's Coach does a great job of preparing guys, just knowing the teams really well, knowing them inside and out, and he does a great job of developing the game plan, and then each week in practice we're talking about it, watching a bunch of film with each guy, not just on the other team but on ourselves too, right? Because just because we're 21 games in doesn't mean we can't get better every day. Like we're always still trying to find ways to get better, and us as a staff, we feel like we haven't reached our potential yet. We still feel like there's a lot of things that we can get better at, and I think that's a good thing, right? Like 21 games into the season, you don't want to be playing your best basketball. You want to be playing your best basketball in March. You want to be playing your best basketball right at the end when it matters. So, I think that we're excited just going forward about the potential of our team, and we're going to continue to get them in the film room, get them in the gym to get extra shots up, and keep as coaches watching film, studying their tendencies, studying the other teams, and we're going to keep developing game plans that hopefully help us come out on top.
Zeroing in on you, what are you looking to do to improve yourself on your job as one of the assistant coaches?
Yeah, just whatever coach needs. Game to game, each team's different in different styles, and I think that's what makes the GSAC so good. Is you got all these teams, and everybody kind of has their own unique style. This with some similarities, but mostly everybody plays their own game, and so just really leaning on Coach and his wisdom, and just really locking in on what he feels like we need to do, and then maybe if he's got his game plan ready, and then maybe I'll dial in on something specific and pull in a couple guys to watch film that day on this guy's tendencies or this play that they run a lot that we need to guard, and this is how we want to guard it. Or now that we're playing everybody a second time, like pulling guys in to say like, hey, this is what happened last game, and then show them, hey, like this is what we need to do differently, especially against a team like Jessup who we lost to at their place. So yeah, I mean it's just kind of focusing on what that game plan is game to game, and really zeroing in on how we can help our guys get better. That's kind of the focus right now.
Jessup here at 7:30 on Thursday, right?
Yes.
Across the parking lot. At the
we need everybody.
ASU
Come to the game. We need it packed. We need it loud.
You're hearing Coach Austin asked for a little extra help, a little extra loud, and it doesn't take much to get that place loud, but it sure is good when it's packed. It's going to be fun, I'm sure. Coach, any final thoughts that you want to throw out there for, what the one key thing you got to do to improve to win, maybe your 5th straight GSAC championship, that type of thing?
Yeah, just like I mentioned earlier, we got to keep getting better every day because these teams are really, really good. Everybody's really, really good. Jessup, they're It's no secret. I'm not pulling any punches, man. Like, they beat the doors off of us when we went up there. So our guys are going to be motivated this week, and we've really got to lock in on what we need to do better and how we can be better going into the game on Thursday. And so that's the focus. Like, what can we do? Today's the most important day. Now, we're done with today. Like, tomorrow's practice is the most important day of the season. Like, what can we do to get after it and really get our guys better, skill-wise, game plan-wise, mentally, whatever it may be? Like, how can we get our guys better to prepare for Thursday? That's what the focus is.
It'll be an interesting run, that's for sure, because it's kind of a tale of two teams. I know Jessup will like to be offensive and like to go, and Menlo will be very content, low-scoring game.
Yep.
Let's pound some bodies. Let's do all that stuff. So it's going to be the tale of two games when Jessup comes to town on Thursday and Menlo comes to town on a Saturday afternoon. Coach, it's a very busy weekend here at ACU. We'll talk about this a couple times, but 22 home events starting tomorrow.
Let's go.
We will have here on campus. And for those of us that get to work all those, it's a lot of games. I'll be tired by the time I get to your game on
it's all fun
Saturday.
Stuff.
But
it's all fun
it'll
stuff.
be great. So we've been talking with assistant coach Austin Peters, assistant men's basketball coach. They're 16-5 on the year and 5-2 in GSAC play. And Coach, good luck on Thursday and
Thank you.
on Saturday as well. We'll
Thank you,
take a
Coach.
break and we'll come
Appreciate
back
you guys.
for baseball right after this. To the Storm Report on the campus of Arizona Christian University, coming to you live from the Tower Grill. This is episode 17 of season 3, and we're excited to now talk a little baseball. The baseball team got their season started this weekend, hosting the Coach Calderon Classic. We got to see some good baseball, a couple of good wins for you guys to start your year, a 16-3 victory, a 6-0 victory, and then a little tough game on Saturday, but, you'll rebound from that. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But, gentlemen, good start to your season, and welcome to the Storm Report. Thanks for coming on. We're joined, by the way, this is Jaylen Edwards to my immediate left, shortstop for the Firestorm, and Marques Titialii, the now center fielder for the Firestorm, kind of a position change for him. They're the guys joining us. So, Jaylen, we'll start with you. Man, you must be seeing it like a beach ball, man, because you're hitting 6 for 11 to start the season and playing shortstop for the Firestorm, and off to a great start for you. So how's that gone, your first couple of games in the Firestorm uniform, transfer into the program? And obviously it's not affected you one bit. You're ready to go.
Yep, exactly. I give the credit just to the work that we've been putting in, and that's really what's been preparing me for the start of the season that we've been having. So.
Okay. And what's your favorite hit been so far? I mean, you got 6 of them to talk about, so pick one.
The favorite hit, I'll probably say I think it was a 2 RBI single to right field with the bases loaded the other day.
Why didn't the third guy score? That's the question, right?
Didn't hit it hard enough. Got to hit it harder next time.
Just kidding. So, great start for you. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about what you got coming, but obviously you got some tough teams coming as you now transition into another invitational. But what kind of things are you taking away from this week that you're like, I'm locked in, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to face some of these top teams?
Mostly just keeping a clear mind and just trusting the work that we've been putting in, trusting my body, and going out there and playing free.
People always ask, defense or offense? You make a slick fielding play at shortstop, get up, throw somebody out by a half step, or you drive in 2 runs. What's better for you?
I gotta say, being successful at hitting, just because it's so hard.
Okay.
It's the best feeling, honestly, in all the sports.
Round ball, round back, make it go somewhere, right?
Yep, exactly. Being able to do that feels amazing. So.
Got it.
Hey, Marques, so we're going to stay on the Jaylen Edmonds show. What are you seeing from Jaylen right now in the first 3 games? As Tim mentioned, he's hitting almost 500. He's knocking the cover off the baseball. What are you seeing from this young man, and where is his ceiling? Is it a limitless ceiling?
Sky's the limit. Obviously, guy shows crazy athleticism. It's nice having a shortstop, that can go out there and make every single play. And then on top of that, having him in the 9-hole, dangerous 9-hitter type of guy that's going to get on base every time, roll it over to the top of the lineup. That's huge for us.
And Jaylen, how much are you leaning on this young man? He had a heck of a season last year, a monstrous season. How much do you talk to this young man and pick his brain on how good he is and how good you can be?
We talk every single day. He inspires me a lot. Just going out there and seeing him trust his work makes me trust my work. So, because I've been out here every day with him, so he makes me better in every way.
So you got to give him a lot of power hitting tips, I'm sure, because Titialii barely hits it. He's hit a couple home runs here for the Firestorm.
Just a few.
Not very many.
Yeah.
So
Not
must
that
be
many.
the power numbers you're
Yeah. I taught him everything he knows.
Right,
so.
right. Well, we're talking about that, Mr. Titialii, that you're at 24 home runs, chasing Mr. John Nunley. Played here a couple of years, about 5-6 years ago, and he's got 25 career home runs. You're sitting at 24. You had one in the first game to get to within 1. How are you feeling about your swing?
I'm feeling good. This weekend wasn't the best weekend for me overall, but to be able to get one out of the yard, having a nice double, and then just having overall success as a team, that's huge. I'm not too worried about my personal success because I know that'll come with just buying into the process, being a good teammate, and just cheering on my guys even if I'm not having the best day. So.
Well, buying into the process, you've done that. You've switched to playing center field, a spot that was owned by J-Ram for several years, and you go back to Brent Smith ahead of him. And we've pretty much only had 3 or 4 outfielders in the history of ACU baseball when you look through the years. It's been one guy for 3 years and one guy for 3 or 4 years and one guy, and now we're on to you playing center field. What's that change been like for you to now move to center field?
It's been fun. I like being able to, having the luxury of being able to cover more range out there and just being able to take over as a leader of the outfield. It's been fun for me. I played center field at my JUCO and then came here, and like you said, Jaylen was out there, so I kind of got stuck in left field. So I'm excited to be back in my real position this year.
Marques, when you look at major league outfielders, major league center fielders, are there some out there that you look and pattern yourself after as far as the way they play defense out there? I know it's only been a couple games for you at center field, but are there some guys up in the big leagues that you look at and say, okay, man, he plays that position very well. I'm going to be like him.
Oof. Defensively, I would
offensively
say,
and defensively, doesn't matter.
Yeah, Byron Buxton, definitely defensively. Like, he's a guy that'll just go and catch everything in the gap, like definition of no-fly zone. So modeling my game after that, taking away base hits from guys that, balls should be landing. If I'm able to get those and turn them into outs, that'll be huge for us. And then offensively, Ronald Acuna Jr. for sure, yeah.
Dog.
Where's all the bling? I don't see the bling on you when you.
Oh, yeah, I got it tucked in right now.
I see a little bit of
If
it.
you're going to Acuna Jr., you got to have the Mr. T left.
I got to keep it humble until I get that record.
Yes. Jaylen, for you, who do you look up to in the big leagues as far as your game offensively and defensively?
All time, I'd say Ozzie Smith. He's always been somebody who I like to look at defensively. And offensively right now, I'd probably go with Carlos Correa. I like Carlos Correa a lot. Just the way he steps into the box and plays offense on offense is something that I'm trying to do too.
Ozzie Smith.
Ozzie Smith,
So
yeah.
we're going to
With
start
a wizard,
seeing the
yes.
backflip.
The wizard.
We're going to start
Yes,
seeing the
sir.
backflip as you take your spot at shortstop now, or what?
I don't know about a backflip, but I like to do everything that he does during the game. I'll try to do some of that.
Okay.
So
all right, fair enough.
a backflip would be cool, though.
A backflip would be cool.
Maybe after W's. Maybe I'll do some. Maybe I'll pull out the backflip.
So, Marques, I got to ask you, we go back to, I'm thinking about Canyon View High School, going back a few years ago where we played, and then now we're at Greenway High School, what we're calling home of ASU Firestorm baseball this season. And it seems to me that the lighting is similar to Canyon View in the sense that doesn't seem to be very bright out there. Is that true? And is that affecting how you're judging fly balls? Because all of your games have been at night so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit. The lights obviously aren't as high and not as bright. So, the really high ones that get above the lights that kind of just disappear. So you got to really see it well off the bat and anticipate where it's going to land and just hope that you're near it when it comes back into the light. But, yeah, just getting good read off the bat, that helps a lot.
We've seen some teams struggle with that in the outfield. I go back to the first game, and there was honestly probably about 4 balls that should have been caught that were turned into doubles because they'd never found them. They never even saw them, and all of a sudden they're making these late dives at it. But how do you prevent – I mean, you talk about it getting above the lights and you're tracking the ball. Obviously, you think you have a beat on it, but how do you make that adjustment mid-route when the ball – you're like, whoa, that's not where I needed to be?
Oof. Honestly, I don't really think too much out there. It's kind of just all reaction. So, going back to what Jaylen said, trusting the work. Like, we have 2-day practices, 2-night practices every week. So we get a good look at what balls are going to look like going up above the lights or even staying down under them. So, yeah, just getting rep after rep after rep and making sure that we're prepared for that.
Marques, let me rewind to your 2023 season. You played all 53 games, hit 353, 18 home runs, 23 multi-hit games. We could go on all night about what you did last season. What was it? How did you play all 53 games, stay healthy for an entire season, and put up those kind of numbers? What was your focus like? How were you able to go from game to game and just continue to play at a very high level like that?
Yeah, I mean, by the grace of God, I was able to stay healthy. But I think a lot of that credit just goes to my preparation off the field, making sure I'm getting my recovery in, getting good sleep, eating good. And, sometimes I would have to play through soreness and, just understanding that I got to do what I got to do to help the team win. That's really what just gave me that will to just power through it.
Jaylen, for you, again, you transferred into the program, and what kind of things have you noticed that may be different than other places you played about the Firestorm family? And I use that term very strongly, not loosely. It is a family. Tell us some of the positive differences about coming to the Firestorm family that from maybe previous stops.
Well, first off, everybody's good. Coming from a JUCO, everybody's good at a JUCO, but when I came here, it was a different level. Like, top to bottom, even guys that got cut, they were good too. So being around guys that just like pushed me to get better has pushed me to get better. So that's one thing. Another thing is family. It really is a family. And we talk about it every week, and we talk about it every day. And I'm just happy that the group of guys that we have is the group of guys that we have. So that's really like the biggest difference is everybody's good and it's a family.
Okay.
Jaylen, what was it about ASU that interested you to come here?
ACU? Not ASU. ACU.
What did I say?
ASU.
ACU.
ACU, well, for one thing, it was the coaches. It was the coaching staff. Another thing was the schedule that we play. And then another thing is the demographic. Being in Arizona, you want to play Arizona baseball. So once Coach McDonald got into contact with me, I knew that this is where I wanted to be. So
ACU.
At ACU,
yes.
Yep.
Not ASU, correct?
No, not ASU,
yes.
ACU.
Coming from Fremont, correct?
Yep, Fremont.
California.
Yep, Bay Area.
California to up over here to Arizona.
Yes, sir.
So you guys have a pretty tough part of your schedule. You obviously finished the weekend playing against the number 13 team in the country, but you're going to start a string of 6 straight games playing against ranked opponents.
Yep.
You go number 7 Bellevue on Wednesday.
Yep.
You then have number 15. You then have number 6. You in the East-West Invitational that's taking place, which, by the way, all of the teams playing in this are ranked in the top 25 or receiving votes. These are no joke NAIA teams. Like, these are all good. You end your tournament by playing Southeastern, the number 1 team in the country. They played in the national championship game, lost to Westmont in that game, but played in the national championship game. And then you, of course, have Ben Mesa after this weekend. Next week you play them, and they're number 19. Big stretch for you guys. What are you doing? Are you doing anything different? Are you trying to hit the books more to get your mind off of it, or are you just ready to just go out, swing a bat, and let's say, all right, let's do it?
Exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't stop thinking about it.
Exactly.
It's hard for me to take my mind off of it. You know, getting the opportunity to put ourselves in those high rankings. You know, we go 3-1, 4-0 this week. We're definitely a top 10 team, and I think we match up well against every single one of those guys, those teams. So I'm excited. I know that we're prepared, and no fear in us at all.
I have a feeling, just a hunch, I'm going out on a limb here. I think there's going to be a ball or two that leaves the yard at Greenway High School over the next 9 games that happen from Wednesday to Saturday. Just a hunch. There's a lot of teams coming in with some firepower. Southeastern, of course, probably at the top of that. The big buzz was leadoff hitter for the season of the NEI. Southeastern batter leading off, hits a home run. All right. There we go. We're off and running. We're going to have home runs.
Yep.
So home runs will be in abundance. Pitching will be, you know, try and not prevent that. So if you're talking to your pitchers and you know you're facing a lineup like that, what are you going to tell them? Like, how are you encouraging your pitchers to get through this tough road coming up? Either one of you.
And just telling them to trust themselves.
Yep.
You know, they're all here for a reason. Every single one of those guys is going to get put on the mound in a tough situation against a tough lineup, and you know, just making sure that they understand that they're ready. You know, trust your stuff, throw strikes. Hitters will get themselves out. It's hard enough. So, yeah, you know, I'm not too worried about them. I know that they'll do well. We have a lot better staff than we had in the past 2 years. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go out there and see those guys compete and play defense behind them.
Go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead. I know what you're going to say. Jackson.
Yes, I was going to ask you, Jaylen, about Jackson. He got the GSAC Pitcher of the Week. He had 10 strikeouts against OPSU last week. Talk about him and just that honor of him getting GSAC Pitcher of the Week.
Highly deserved. Ever since day one, I've seen J-Ho do is work. So I already knew that was what's going to happen, to be honest. So all I can say is well deserved. Highly deserved.
5 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, the first 5 being punch-outs of the game.
Ridiculous.
That's a pretty good stat line right there.
Ridiculous. He's a dog.
And put up a 0 when it's all done. Yeah. So, guys, I know you got a lot going on. You got a lot to prepare for. Again, I talked about it in the other segment. You're part of this group of 22 home games happening in the next 4 or 5 days here at ACU. And we want the fans to come out and support you as best they can. Give them your best sales pitch why they need to come.
Man, if you want to see a good show, pop out.
Yeah, if you want to watch good baseball, pull up to Greenway High School.
Greenway High
6
School.
p.m., 5:30 p.m. Pull up.
Right down the road, just about a couple miles or two down the road, down Greenway here from the campus of Arizona Christian. The East-West Invitational will be taking place again, all top 25 teams or receiving vote teams. It should be a great weekend. Come on out, support these guys. And gentlemen, thank you for taking the time to join us here on the Storm Report.
Anytime.
Thank you, fellas.
I know that the accolades will come,
Thank you.
and we wish you success this weekend and through the season. And I'm sure we'll talk to a lot of your teammates as we continue down the road with the Storm Report this semester. So, guys, thanks for the time, and go out and have some fun and get your studying done.
Yes, sir. Thank
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break, and we'll keep it in the baseball, softball world. We'll talk to the ladies of softball that will get their season started tomorrow. They'll be on the set next. Welcome back to the Storm Report. Once again, we're inside the Tower Grill, and this is once again episode 17 of season 3. And we've talked a little men's basketball, we've talked a little baseball, and now we have the opportunity to talk a little softball. We'll take it to the turf. To my immediate left, Savannah Smith, one of the members of the pitching staff for the Firestorm, and Ryan Reese, an outfielder for the Firestorm. Ladies, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having us.
So you're going into your season. It starts tomorrow, right out there, across the parking lot behind Event Center. Go to the corner and you'll find the ACU softball field. And you have your good friends, College of Idaho, who you have faced 5 of the last 7 season opener games. Most people don't know that, but I don't know if it's true. College of Idaho, Arizona Christian, notorious for opening the season. They'll be here tomorrow, and that'll be a 4:30 start. First pitch coming probably right out of your hand for that game. So, ladies, let's talk about as you've prepared for the season. Obviously, you start with the fall, and one of the biggest things that you've had as an obstacle, I don't want to say obstacle, but things that you've had to work through. You have 17 returners and you have 14 new players. And of those 14 players that are new, all of them are freshmen. You ladies joined us as transfers, so you were part of Coach Maben's original approach. Well, I took the job and I got to really build up my war chest of girls that can play right now. And so he used the approach of, I'm going to bring in a lot of transfers. And you ladies were part of that. This time in his recruiting process, he's kind of really focused in on bringing in the freshmen so the legacy can be built and it can continue on. So one of the big fun things you guys had in the offseason and preparing for the season was now molding these 31 ladies into the 2024 version of the ACU softball team. How has that gone?
Honestly, I think it's gone pretty well. Obviously we have a lot of new faces and all that kind of stuff, so trying to figure out, what our new team dynamic is like and all that kind of stuff. But it's been awesome. We have, a lot of eager freshmen. They're, excited about the game, excited to be on the field, and I think just that energy is sort of contagious, especially for us, older girls, seniors that have been around the game and all that kind of stuff, bringing that new excitement. I think that's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. Our freshmen, actually, they really clicked with us, and their energy just is right with us. And I'm really excited to see what this season brings with them, because a lot of them are going to get to see that field as much as we are, and I'm really excited to see it. And they have the potential to bring the legacy like we have been doing.
I haven't seen the starting lineup. I can't verify this, but I would think there's going to be maybe 2 to 3 freshmen in that starting lineup tomorrow when I see the lineup card for the first time. I'm just in spots I've heard, I think this person's going to start. And a couple of names I'm hearing, they're a freshman. But let's kind of break down the team. And Savannah, we'll start with you and the pitching staff. Savannah, you had a phenomenal year last year. You went 21-12. You went 202 through 202 in the third innings. You struck out 213, and all of that was program season best, and you had yourself a year.
Thank you.
Savannah got the ball. Savannah was throwing the ball. Savannah was probably going to complete the game. Didn't come out of too many games. So you're leading the pitching staff. That you have your friend Trinity Lawson, who had herself a pretty good year last year as well, ended up with a 2.59 ERA. So she was a pretty solid, and it was really a two-headed arm race between the two of you. You'd go game 1, she'd go game 2. And so you brought in some other arms this year. Tell us about the pitching staff of ACU softball.
Yeah, so honestly right now it's pretty young. Obviously there's me as a senior and then Trinity a junior, but we have a lot of fresh meat or whatever you want to say. But like I said, they're still eager freshmen, all that kind of stuff. We have some girls that throw hard, got the movement, all that kind of stuff. But we're molding together, trying to figure out that dynamic, because now we have 6 pitchers, so bullpens can get kind of crazy and all that kind of stuff. But I'm excited to see what they do if they get the opportunity to have the ball. I think they're going to execute well.
I've heard some names like Dana Herrera, Herrera, for Ed, if you don't know, if you recognize that last name, her brother was a starting quarterback of the football team, or was one of
Johnny?
Johnny Herrera for a couple of games. He brother and sister combo there, so we're glad the Herrera family line continues. So Dana's a name that I've heard that she's going to be kind of in the mix. What is she? I think she's more of a speedster, right? She brings a little bit of heat.
She obviously she had an injury a little bit ago, so she's trying to get that speed back. But we've been clocking her, and she's slowly getting back. But she's looking good.
As fast as you, or you're still you got some more work to do there, freshman?
A little bit. We're neck and neck. We're right there.
Okay, fair enough. Ed, you got anything to?
Yeah, Savannah, I was going to ask you, so Tim threw out all the accolades, 21-12, 213 strikeouts. Again, like Marques, we could go all night with all these numbers, batters faced, innings pitched, all that stuff. All we know is that there's a lot of expectations for you. Are you ready for that? And how have you prepared for this coming season with so many ranked teams coming in here and the eyes on you as probably as the ace of this staff?
Yeah, honestly, that kind of sounds like a lot of like pressure and all that kind of stuff, but that's what I kind of feed on, like having that pressure. Like, I think that makes me execute better and all that kind of stuff, but I've been preparing. Me and Ryan have been like running at least once a week, trying to like stay in good shape, but we both just want to have like a really good season, so like, yes, I had all those accolades, but I'm trying to like still stay consistent, getting even better and all that kind of stuff. So I'm throwing the ball like a little bit harder with all the training and like workouts and all that kind of stuff, and my pitching coach has been pushing me pretty hard with like a lot of leg driving stuff. So I'm excited. Yes, there's pressure, but I'm excited for it.
And Ryan, how have you been getting ready for the season, getting ready for your second season here with the Firestorm?
Yeah, so honestly, I put a lot of work in this summer. I didn't have the season I wanted last season, but that just kind of pushed me to do what I want to do this season. I'm really excited. As Sav says, we're trying to run as much as we can. We're not big runners. We just play softball. But we are really trying to get in shape, and we're trying to lead this team as seniors and as my last year of playing softball. I'm really just excited to get on that field and start playing again.
What is it about opening day that makes it that's so cool?
Honestly, I don't know. It's just the fresh start of a new season. No stats, nothing to stress about. You just go up there. First day, let's just have fun. You don't have to worry about anything because you don't have to. It's your first game right now.
So, Ryan, you're an outfielder. Let's keep it in the outfield and talk about the ladies around you. I'm assuming I'm going to see a number 13 named Jaylen Miles in the lineup. I think. Maybe you're looking at me wrong, but I'm like, is there something I don't know? But it should be a Jaylen Miles. I'm believing I'm going to see a Reese there in the lineup. We used to have a Caitlin Anderson last year, right? Mm-hmm. Caitlin's moved on, graduated in just 3 years from college, so kudos to her. I'm sure we'll see the Anderson family at some point in the season. So let's talk about the outfield. What does that look like?
So the outfield actually really young this year. I'm the only senior in the outfield, and then KT is actually the only junior in the outfield. I mean, we can include Joelle. She's also in the outfield, too. But Jaden's actually playing a lot of second base, so we're not going to see her in the outfield very much. So it's really young, and we're really fast. Like, we're all small, we're all agile, and even though we're small, a lot of us got some arms. So I'm really excited to see our strength out there. And any of one of us could start out there 100%, and I agree with that. Like, we are all pretty stacked. We're all on each other's tails of getting that playing time. So, yeah, our freshmen are hungry. Our sophomores are hungry. Juniors and one senior is super hungry to see the grass out there. So it's going to be exciting.
So throw out some names of new ladies on the team that you expect or plan that will have an impact in the outfield.
Elena Garcia,
Okay.
Reina Gonzalez, Caitlin Tarakos, I think, that's how you say it.
Yeah, something like that.
Terzakis.
Yeah.
I've had to say it too many times, and I've screwed it up 100 times. So.
Yeah, those I would, and Ryan Reese would be our top right there. I'm excited to see what they can do. We got some hot bats. We got some slappers.
A lot of lefties.
Yep,
a lot of lefties.
Yeah.
Now, all of the slappers, or is there some power there too?
Most of them are all slappers.
Okay.
I am, Elena is, KT is, and Reina is.
Right.
So there's all some left-handed slappers. So, that will be transferred out into the speed in the outfield. So.
Got it.
Tim, do you love how she referred to herself in third person?
Yeah.
And Ryan Reese.
Ryan Reese. Yeah, I caught that.
It's great. So Ryan, what are some certain things you're trying to zero in as far as your game? You said last year wasn't your best. 225, 21 run scores. Of course, you love to hit more and score more and do more than you did last season. What are some things that you've been working on in the off season, getting prepared for tomorrow and the length of a season?
Honestly, my mentality. I'm trying to change that of just to have some fun this year. I got really caught up in my stats, and then I ended up breaking my thumb last year, so I was out. And that wasn't fun, and I just got caught up in my head. This game is really about mental, and I was not in the right headspace. So this summer I put the grind in. I was in the cage every single day, and I just wanted to change my mentality. It wasn't really anything wrong with my mechanics. It was all about my mentality again. And this year I'm in a way better headspace, and I'm really excited to put that grind in.
Well, Savannah, we talked about your pitching staff. Obviously, every time you throw the ball, you're hoping it reaches the glove of your catchers.
Right.
The only catcher that I know for sure in the mix is Miranda Hippolito.
Right.
She spent time as a catcher and a DP last year. Let's talk about the backstops of your team, the catchers of your team. Who's the doodad on the team besides probably Miranda? Who else is in that mix?
Right. So right now it's looking like Miranda, maybe for like game 1, and then we have Joelle Dowdy in the mix there, and then Christina Grubb. So we also have a couple new freshman catchers that are also in the mix. So a lot different than my first year here, right? Where we had like one catcher, and it was like we had 1.5 catchers trying to but it's a lot different. So now, even like me as a pitcher, I'm able to see like different catchers and all that kind of stuff, get that mixed down. But it's looking like Miranda, Joe, Christy, kind of like all in those mix. Obviously we don't know for sure. We don't get the lineup ahead of time, but that's kind of what it's looking like right now.
So is there one that you spend more time with? I think last year you spent a lot more time with Neely Bell, who was the number one catcher normally. And I think you spent a lot of time throwing to her. But have you spent the offseason kind of throwing to all of your catchers just to get used to them?
Yeah, honestly, we've been like rotating a lot. So not a lot of our bullpens look the same. So sometimes I'm throwing to like a freshman, or I'm throwing to Miranda or Joelle and all that kind of stuff, trying to get that mix. But in recent weeks, it's more just been like me and Miranda, or me and Joe, me and Christy, trying to like figure out what that dynamic is, because there is something to be said about a catcher-pitcher dynamic and all that kind of stuff. That little duo is pretty important. But somewhere within that mix. But we've been rotating a lot, just like through me, and then also like Dana and Trin, trying to like figure out what we're comfortable with.
Okay.
Savannah, between starts, how often do you watch yourself on film and kind of critique your mechanics and things that, that went really well for me? I had really good innings here. I didn't like what I did here on the mound.
Yeah.
Some things I can work on and some things I can improve on.
Honestly, I probably watch the film a lot more than I should, just because, I play the game, and then that weekend, like either Sunday night or something, I'm going over it because we're turning right around and playing the next day or something like that. But I do spend a lot of time, critiquing, which that's kind of like what Ryan was saying with, that mental component. Yes, there's something to be said about, what did that inning look like, what went well for me and all that kind of stuff, but there is, overcorrecting and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of have to find that balance a little bit. Last year I was very, stat-driven, which obviously led to some good accolades, but I was a lot of the time even if we won, I was I didn't get the amount of strikeouts I wanted, and then I was, still upset. So I'm trying to have, a lot better season of, having fun, right? The game's about fun. If I'm not having fun, why am I playing? All that kind of stuff. But I do spend a lot of time watching film, but I'm going to try to balance a little bit better this year.
So you can bounce it off your sister. That's her mentality, her mind state this year, just to go out and have fun.
Exactly, yeah.
It's baseball. It's softball at the end of the day, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, for you may have a little extra help because your family spends so much time watching from Washington.
Yeah, that's right.
They may already give you that, you need to watch in the fourth inning. You were dropping your elbow too much, or you were stepping wrong, or you might be already getting some of that extra coaching.
Yeah, a lot of the coaching from my dad, too,
Mom
right?
and Dad are watching from Washington. So the one position or one group of people we haven't really talked about, you got to talk infield. There's a girl named Claire Buckley. She's done okay here. She's set one, maybe 2 records. Just kidding. Claire Buckley has been phenomenal for the Firestorm. I can't imagine she's not being penciled in to be the starting shortstop.
Right, yep.
Yes.
And where she bats in the lineup, we'll see where that is tomorrow. Could be 1, could 2, 3, whatever it will be. And you've now mentioned that we're going to see Jaylen at second base. That leaves the corner outfield or corner infield. What does that look like? I know there's some spots there, but injuries and some things and maybe move some pieces.
Yeah, so I think our first base would be Brenna Henry's been working there a lot, as we saw her last season, and Abby Koval. They're both battling.
They're platoon again?
Yep. Okay. So that would be almost the same as last season. And then for third base, it's kind of up in the air right now. We got a new freshman, Dana. She's been working there a lot. Miranda can be playing there at third base as well, and Christy Grubb.
Okay.
We've had a lot of rotations going on this season, trying to figure out where it works best.
And
for
Ariel Rico has been there a lot too, and she's one of the seniors. So.
Okay. So you're excited about the infield. I mean, we lost the Taylor connection, Alto, and Schleisman out of that mix. I'm sure we'll see them at some point cheering you guys on from the stands. I can't imagine they're not here, even probably this weekend. But so you lost that and some back. But how is the dynamic of that infield? Is it fast and smooth? I mean, you play on a turf field most of the time at home, always on a turf field at home. Are they very athletic, kind of like a Claire, or like they can throw somebody out like a heartbeat, like a cannon of an arm, and just rock solid with the glove?
Yeah, I'd say that Dana, she's been spending a lot of time at third, and she's pretty mobile. She has an arm, all that kind of stuff, makes a lot of good plays for us. So we are all athletes on the field, so, like
Right.
moving quick and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not worried about our infield at all, It's
Yeah.
going to be like a new dynamic. Obviously, it's a new season, but I'm excited to see what happens.
Our middles are strong. Jaylen and Claire together, they're fast. They
Super
look good.
fast.
I'm excited to see them throw some double plays. They're very capable of doing that, and yeah.
So the triangle last year was Claire at short, you in center, and Jayden in left. Now that's Claire and then Jayden at short, and then you still in center.
Yep.
So the triangle moves towards center.
Right.
We'll find out how that all plays out. The last group we haven't talked about, your coaching staff. They all return. Coach Maben now in his third season, still a family affair. Still have Casey, his wife, as a coach. Still have the daughter Taylor. Still
Right.
have the son-in-law Zach, and still have a lot of people. But you still have some components back. You have Tatum Porras back as your pitching coach. She was a rookie pitching coach last year, and I think Savannah, you molded the ways. But I also saw her get up in your grill a couple of times and be like, "Listen, figure it out." So you bring your staff back, and that obviously is a big deal. Brent Smith kind of dealing with hitting some infield stuff. What does that mean when you have your coaching staff back almost in its entirety like you have back?
Honestly, it's really nice, right? Because of like consistency. We don't want to obviously we would love to have new coaches sometimes, just to bring new energy and all that kind of stuff. But they're able to hold us accountable. They know us, right? It's not like strangers coming in trying to tweak all this kind of stuff. Okay, well, you don't really know what I've been doing the last year. So just having that consistency and people that actually want to be there at practice, right? We have pretty good attendance with our coaches, right? So sometimes there's all of us and it's really overwhelming and there's a ton of people on the field. But that's nice, they're reliable and we can trust them. And I think that's a super important component with a coaching staff.
Yeah, I really do like how we have the same coaches as last year. It's consistency. And you don't have to change many mechanics because some coaches like a certain way, and I already know what Coach Maben likes, so it's easy just to acclimate right into that. And yeah, that's it. I think, yeah.
I guess the main one we forgot was Coach Aubrey.
Our catcher coach.
I don't
Yep.
think I've really mentioned her. I've heard another name, Coach Joe. I
Coach
think?
Joe, yeah, he's a new addition.
Yeah.
I don't even have him on the roster, to be honest with you. I just heard his name thrown around the other day, and I went, "Who's Coach Joe?"
Yeah, he's new. He pops in once in a while.
Okay.
He really is working on hitting. He soft toss for us a lot. He doesn't say much to the outfielders, at least I know. I don't know about
He doesn't
the
talk to
infield.
the pitchers either.
So, but he really does throw a lot of soft toss for us, which is really nice when
Okay.
Coach Maben can look at our mechanics on hitting and just focus on us, except if he's not tossing.
Yeah.
So it's
Honestly, the most amount of bodies on the field just makes practice go so much more smoother, right? Because we have people soft tossing, and then we can get a lot more instruction, which is nice.
Okay, Ed, any final thoughts?
Oh, yeah, last one for me, Ryan. Tim used the term rock solid. I want to use that when we talk about your defense, about being suffocating. You had 47 putouts, just one error last year. Talk about the importance of having that solid defense when it comes to the course of a season and how that can change the course of a game if you get an error or two here, or if you play solid defense and you get some double plays or you get some really big plays from the outfield to get your team hyped up or to get you out of a tight inning that Savannah may be in.
Yeah. So honestly, yeah, tight defense, especially in the outfield, is really important because we are the last line of defense. So if it gets to the fence, our bases are really a lot closer than baseball. So if it's getting the fence, that could be just a triple, easy. So yeah, having that tight defense and having the speed out there is very helpful. And yeah, obviously Sav doesn't want to pitch the ball and have it shot over the head, but her knowing that I can be back there to be able to catch a fly ball that's not an easy one is probably a lot.
Yes.
It's nice to know that. So yeah, yeah, the defense portion is really what is super exciting for me. Yeah, I like to hit. Yeah, it's fun, but making that play and knowing that I can make a play a lot of other people cannot make is one of my favorite things about the game. So yeah.
Hey, Savannah, does that take pressure off your mind knowing that you've got a solid group of defenders around you?
Oh,
And all
absolutely.
you've got to do is worry about throwing that ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Having confidence in my defense is such an important thing, right? Because I've been on other teams where I'm oh, I really don't want them to hit the ball because I don't think they're gonna catch it. But that's not the way I feel about this defense. Rock solid, all that kind of stuff. And even if they do make an error, I know they're gonna pick me up on the next one. So absolute confidence in this defense, which just makes my job a lot easier, right?
Yes.
So Ed, did you just hear what Savannah said? She wants the team to hit the ball. Wait, what? You're a pitcher. You don't want them to hit the ball.
Okay, worst case scenario, if they do hit the ball, right, then my defense can catch it. But
Well, ladies, we appreciate your time. I'm sure we've gone over a little bit of time, but it's been fun to have you on. We're excited about season 12 of ACU softball coming up. Season 11, 34 wins, 15 wins in conference, second most in program history. So you got a good foundation to build on, and we're excited about what's coming up. But you guys have a tough schedule. Start with 13 College of Idaho tomorrow. Come on out, fans. We'll see you at 4:30. First pitch coming right out of her hand on the ACU softball field, and then you have teams like, Southern Oregon, Oregon Tech, 1 and 2 in the country. You got those guys coming in, gals coming in later on.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're okay. So and this is all coming in the next couple of weeks. So I know you're going to go out there, you're going to have some fun, and we wish you success tomorrow, through the weekend, and through the rest of the season. And I think for everybody, you've done a great job, ladies, and we appreciate you talking about ACU softball. Ed, any final thoughts? You're good.
No, sir. Let's let these ladies go.
All right. They got to go back in their rooms and study. I'm sure that's what they're going to go
right.
do. This has been episode 17 of season 3 for the Storm Report. Thanks to all of our guests. Assistant coach Austin Peters joining us for men's basketball. Marques Titialii, Jaylen Edwards from the baseball program, and still on set with us, Savannah Smith, pitcher for the Firestorm, and center fielder Ryan Reese. Ladies, have fun tomorrow. I'll be out there with you, and roll Storm.
Thank you, Payne.